at Comic Book Friends. I'm Travis.
And I'm Ethan.
And this is
Monster Comic Reviews.
That's right. We're talking about the second half of our books from last week,
ago.
which was
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago, which was today is the 10th. That would be
the last week of February.
Was it last week of February?
Last week of
yeah,
February.
right before Emerald City Comic Con.
Uh-huh.
Because yes, it was right before Emerald City Comic Con because these comics were setting around at Emerald City Comic Con places.
Uh-huh.
So what are we going to talk about first?
First up, we have Hawkguy, issue 8.
Hawkguy, issue 8. It's not Hawkguy, it's Hawkguy.
Hawkguy, okay.
Get it
Yes.
right.
Okay, yes.
The internet will hate you if you don't have it
Oh.
right.
Oh, no.
Anyway, awesome book. I absolutely love. Oh, well, first off, the cover. I love the cover. It's this great retro-looking kind of a cover. Kind of reminds
really
me.
cool.
Kind of reminds me a way of the Casanova covers.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna say that.
Because of the. It's because of
Oh,
the
yeah.
circles
Uh-huh.
that are on her dress. It's the same kind of iconic looking. I
Well,
think.
the circles and the fact that she's not really outlined that much.
Right.
Mhm.
Another great story. Why Clint is doing the stuff he's doing, I have not figured. I mean, yes. So she's a cute girl and all, but
yeah, she's kind of totally playing him. I mean,
still.
you loser.
Well, the fact that when he decides they're going to go to he's going to make a ruckus in the bar. So I thought maybe he's first putting the hat on. I'm thinking, okay, so he's going to wear a mask at least, so he at least hides who he is. No,
It's
he's
just a
wearing
hat.
he's wearing a stocking cap with a freaking purple H on it to go in and go fisticuff with a stripper bar full of the tracksuit guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I still like, hey, tracksuit, bro, punch.
Punch. I mean, I love it. I mean, absolutely enjoying the hell out of the book. Everything about it is funny. It's funny. It's fast paced. But it's serious at the same time. It has this level of, I mean, he is kind of emotionally damaged dude, and so therefore he does
Kind of.
he does some extremely dysfunctional things because he's a dysfunctional person, and like I said, it's just great. It's fabulous. It's fun and whatnot. But it's like the whole comic book cover thing through this. That was really cool. I love seeing the old school comic book covers, and then to find out that they, it's like they had to be in a certain order because that was the combo to the lock that they can't get open, and whatnot. And she just ditches him at the end because like, well, fine, I can't, get your.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know, right? Whatever.
the one thing that threw me off though was when she shows up at the Avengers place, right? And of course all the other Avengers ladies are there and they're going to give Clint a hard time about the fact, his ex-girlfriend, and Jessica and Black Widow, they're all there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is she wearing that dress? So if anybody out there knows what the significance of this dress is there some significance to this dress besides it just being kind of a cool looking dress?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Because they say that. Why is she wearing that dress? And I'm like, what?
Maybe because it's kind of skimpy? I don't know. I mean...
Yeah, have you seen the superhero costumes that
Yeah,
these ladies
okay.
wear? So that dress doesn't really cut it as far as that goes. But so I don't know. So if somebody knows, if someone's out there reading Hawkeye and they know that there's some significance to that dress that I'm missing, or is that just kind of an odd line that just kind of threw me, or what? If you know.
And if you do
Let
know
us know.
the significance of this dress and aren't reading Hawkeye, you're dumb.
Yeah, because you should be reading Hawkeye.
You should.
I don't think there's anybody. I mean, it's just an absolutely awesome comic. Anything you want to say about it?
I really don't like what's-her-face, the redhead. I don't even know her name.
Oh, I like her to say Cherry.
Cherry?
If her name really is Cherry.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of hoping that what's-his-face would shoot her, frankly.
Oh, the old
guy.
Oh, speaking of that whole thing, of course we get the end of this. What do we get at the end of this?
Oh, the king.
The Kingpin and all the other crime lords have decided, okay, yeah, the tracksuit guys, we're letting you kill this Avenger.
Yeah.
They've had a meeting. They're gonna let them kill Clint. And if they kill him, great. They got rid of an Avenger. If they don't kill him, it wipes out this small family, and that's a little more cut for everybody else, is what Penguin says. A couple of other people aren't too keen on the whole idea of stirring up a fight with an Avenger.
I wouldn't blame them, especially since it's, I don't know, an Avenger.
Yeah. But so that's going to be
Seeing as
interesting.
pretty much every
That's
single
going to be
one of our
interesting,
heroes,
and
but-
that's going to be interesting and heavy. So I mean, the heavy story is there. Besides the kind of fun, goofy, you just kind of shake your head and go, "Oh my God, that's hilarious! Why would you,
Why would you do that?
the whole thing and whatnot." So, and Kate being the getaway car.
Yes. Yeah.
Ah, you guys are disgusting. I believe it.
Yeah,
She drives off. I'm not gonna get arrested with you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an Avenger. Don't arrest me. I'm an Avenger. Yeah. Okay.
Uh.
But yeah, awesome comic. What would we rate that book?
I think I give it a 4.
I give it 5. I enjoyed that comic. Man, I read FF. I'm like, oh, this is an awesome book. This is gonna be the best book of the week. And then I read Hawkguy, and I'm like, oh man, that's even better. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like Mac Faction.
Yeah.
He's pretty
Okay. Anyway, next we're gonna talk about I, Vampire number 17. Of course, we went to Emerald City Comic Con last week, and Joshua Hale Falkoff said, I'm gonna kill everybody.
Yep, and he is.
And what are you gonna do? You gonna fire me? You gonna cancel
You're
my
gonna
book?
cancel my book?
And he is. He's freaking killing everybody. Isn't
Yes. Okay. Well,
he? One of the most awesome characters.
there
in the book.
goes my favorite character. Goodbye, Mary Queen of Blood.
Yep. Lopped her head off.
See you never. Dang it.
As a human, so it's not like
It's not like she's gonna be fine. She
Yeah.
can come back from that. She's dead.
it's just
Well,
a flesh
maybe if Andrew
jump back right away.
goes back to being super all awesome, super magic, maybe he can put her back together. But
Yeah. I mean, there's a possibility just because of all the heavyweight magic that's going on right now.
yeah, mm-hmm.
But
Still.
yeah.
And then of course he also kills what's his face? Professor. I don't remember what his name is.
Well, Thornton, right? Isn't his last name Thornton?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pulls his heart
Darn
out.
it. Well, he's dead too. Poop. Well, at least I don't think they can kill Constantine. I don't think
Well,
they
yeah.
can.
He's not a core member of the book. So the only,
They're
people
gonna-
that, the only people that are left as far as core members of the book are really
Andrew
Andrew,
and
Tig, Andrew, Tig,
Andrew and Tig. I mean,
and
the
maybe
blonde,
Kane. I guess you can call
and
Kane.
the blonde lady. I love, as they're going through the House of Mysteries, as she meets her dead husband, she's like, hey, right, and she sees his hand, she's just like, oh crap. She backs like,
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't mess around. She's
good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
She's like, damn it, I'm gonna kill Bennett. She's grabbing that shield and crap. So she's probably the only thing that's gonna save the whole place. Between her and Constantine.
Yeah.
I did like Constantine in this. I like the characterization of
Yeah,
Constantine in this. Whereas we're kind of, a lot of the Constantine characterization, we're kind of going, "Ugh," of how he's being characterized versus the Vertigo version of him. I love the version of him here. He's like, flicking the cigarette at him, and it's a spell that kicks off and whatnot. There was some pretty cool stuff in there. I'm still fascinated by the brick that's from the Tower of Babel, and they're using that to open a gate to both heaven and hell at the same time. So really, right now, Bennett's whole plan is for him not to take over the planet. Bennett's plan is just to watch the whole planet tear itself apart, basically. He's trying to open up a war between heaven and hell, and just letting the whole thing go. He's gonna step back and watch it just shred itself.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, no, I love as Kane's picking up the magician with his big magic hand. Right, I need to use her whole. That sounds dirty.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was enjoyable. But yes, I mean, it's at the same time, it's like, they're wiping killing his people off. But we know the book's going down. They probably weren't going to do anything. I mean, leaving, especially if she became a vampire again, leaving Mary, Queen of Blood, running around would be bad news for the DC universe.
That'd be awesome.
Well, yes, it would be. But, so, they're basically cleaning the house. I mean, I figure by the time this whole thing's said and done, Bennett is probably still going to be around and carrying this huge
weight
of
I just killed everybody I love.
Well, he didn't kill her, but he didn't lop off Mary's head. Tig did that.
Yeah, but he turned Tig into a vampire. He also killed Tig's father. He also hid that from her. So
I didn't just hid it from her. He
I'm
also
really-
lied about it and said
I'm
the
really
Constantine was the one
glad
that did it.
that came back. Because that happened towards the very beginning of the story.
Right.
And we all was just kind of like, is that ever going to mean anything?
Anything, right.
I mean...
And to bring it back in, that it really was him that killed him. Yeah. Yeah. Because he killed him for a good reason, though.
Yeah,
I mean, Tig's dad was out of control.
Yeah, he went crazy. Of course, it was still kind of his fault anyway. I mean, he's like, I'm holding back. I'm being a good vampire. He's like, oh, you don't have to hold back. You can do this and this. And then by not holding back, he goes insane.
Right.
Like he kind of said he would.
Right.
So then Andrew kills him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So what do we rate this book?
I think I'd give it a solid 4.
I give it 4 also. Well, it probably would have had a 5 if
they hadn't killed Mary.
Well, no, if what's his name was still in the art, but he's off doing Green Arrow. But still excellent book. I'm really enjoying it. Despite it obviously going, spiraling down into nothing.
So for everybody.
So what are we talking about next?
Next up is Justice League Dark, issue 17.
I'm enjoying this storyline. Frankenstein is hilarious. In this, as per usual, they try to torture him to get stuff out of him, and he finally just gets fed up with it and, busts himself loose and...
Yep. I don't like lab toys.
Right. and makes a mess out of all of them and whatnot. Sooner they can get out of this place, the better, though, because Constantine drives me crazy. I mean, I understand that it's implied that a lot of how he gets what he wants is through lie and manipulation and whatnot.
I guess.
But I didn't really think it was that much. And here, because this is supposedly kind of opposite world for him, it makes him so horrifically pathetic.
Yeah.
That,
Although I do love, okay, well, what's the plan? Oh, of course I have a plan. The plan is to sit here and wait for Frankenstein to find this thing's neck and then throttle it.
That's right. Which actually is what works.
Yeah.
Ultimately. But, this is kind of a fun storyline. The whole Timothy Hunter thing is kind of cool. I'm not sure if there's any real consequence to this whole thing when it's all said and done, but...
Except for, Xanadu will probably die, which,
no, we know Xanadu's not going to die because we've been told that she's one of the core members going forward in the book.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure at one of those panels we were at Emerald Comic-Con, either Ray Fox or Lemire, between the two of them, they said that, they named off the core people, and she was one of the core people.
Cool, I guess.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah.
I think she's one of the least interesting to the characters. And she's in another book, so why would they keep using her in this one?
I don't know.
Because other than her seeing the future in some sense or another,
she's pretty much useless.
She doesn't have any real... Yeah.
I mean, actually, you know what? The only time we've actually seen her do anything besides tell the future was in I, Vampire. So, that's when she opened up the big portal and stuff for Andrew.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So, I guess, whatever there.
Yeah.
I really like the way they draw electricity, the artist. The way he draws, the energy and spiraling everything. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Jenny, or how you say his last name. I like his art, definitely. I mean, definitely. I'm enjoying the book. I like Justice League Dark. It's not earth-shattering at this moment, but still very enjoyable. With lots of characters that I do like.
Yeah.
So, what we rate it?
I think I'd give it a 3.
I give it a 3 also. It was enjoyable. Okay, next we're going to talk about Punisher Warzone, number 5 of 5, the final, the last Greg Rucka written work.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, one of your last appearances of Peter Parker Spider-Man, at least for a while. Because this takes place before 698, I think?
700, whatever it is, yeah.
Who knows, it's hard to tell.
Before the Peter Octavius.
Yeah, this was awesome. I will always... The Punisher, for me, will always be the Punisher with the big nasty scar here, or the eye patch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just will. I really like the way they ended it. It was just awesome. I love Tony in this. That was great, as he's like, don't touch it. It was rigged, wasn't it? Shut up.
Yeah, he kind of gets duped all the way through it. He's like, no, fool me once, fool me twice.
Boom.
Yeah, I'm not going to set off that tripwire. So, of course, he's sniping it from a distance to blow it up anyway, the charge. And then it's like, I'm bulletproof, you can't. And he's like shooting him in the eye, right in the eye holes. He's like, okay, so he's an alarmingly good shot,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, just how hard he fought, just to kind of kill more time for the Punisher to get away.
The fact that he survived like a full 5 minutes against the, pretty much the core Avenger team, props.
Well, because he didn't fight them all at the same time. That's part of it is that, as soon as all the Avengers showed up, he went down really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. you went Thor in the face? You went? Okay, not that I haven't thought of doing that. That's kind of cool, but you quit. You see my stuff? That was pretty funny. The whole thing was pretty funny, actually. It was very enjoyable. It seemed it played really well, and I'm really happy about that. When this whole first story first came to light, it was like, oh, come on, Punisher versus the Avengers, that's ridiculous.
Punisher loses.
Well, heck yeah.
Yeah.
And he does, but he loses on his terms.
He doesn't.
yeah, but he loses on his terms.
Exactly.
I was even satisfied with the very end of it.
Yeah.
The fact that she's out still doing the work.
The Punisher. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's still out doing the work. And it just makes me all the more that they're using the Punisher the way they're using him now in Thunderbolts and stuff.
Yep.
that this style of story could have, if they wouldn't have done that, could have went on for a much longer period of time. Yeah. But kudos to Greg Rucka for making me love Punisher, because it's been a character I've never, ever cared about.
No interest in Punisher until now.
Anyway.
Crap.
Yep. Great. What would we rate this?
5.
Yep. And I think it's an excellent miniseries.
Yep.
I mean, it's a miniseries really that I would recommend people pick up and trade or whatever. Yeah. Pick up the singles.
Same with the series.
Yes. Yeah. It's quite enjoyable. Yeah, the series especially, because the series had Greg Chichetta, I don't know what his first name is. Chichetta doing most of the art through the regular series, and his art is awesome too.
Yes.
So, yeah. Okay, what's the last book we're going to talk
about? Last up we have Young Avengers, issue 2.
Part of the Marvel Now! Joining the revolution! I'm not 100% sure what I think of this book. There are parts about it I really like. There's parts that are confusing, like the part you were talking about when we were off camera, about the fact you're not sure why they're dragging Loki off to some Asgardian
Actually, that's
place.
my only problem with the book.
I have another problem with the book, and I'm not exactly sure if I have a problem with it or not. Okay, so they summoned up this parent, and the parent's obviously evil, crazy, wacko, mutant, whatever she is. And she has this room, this special room she throws them in, which is basically a white void. It's a cute and clever use of graphics to put them in a white void. But doesn't it also kind of seem kind of lazy? Like, okay, so I just paid how much money for a comic book that's got pages that are literally almost completely blank because they're in a invisible square room. I mean, like I said, it was, and they're crawling around they're crawling instead of. It's like the rooms are the panels, and they're crawling around the gutters to try and find where the other one's at to bust him out. I mean, it was clever, but part of me also saying, okay, why couldn't they have actually drawn some sort of complicated prison as opposed to a blank page?
Okay,
it took no effort.
First of all, I'm not buying your comic books, so I don't have that much.
There you go.
There.
You don't ever have
Second of all, I thought the white panels worked just fine. I don't think it would have been as fun as if it had been some complex prison thingy.
Sure. Yeah. And this issue was fun. There's definitely some fun stuff about it. Loki is amusing as Loki is. His whole obsession with bacon and the whole diner thing and getting people getting them to pay his bill, his tab.
My problem is at the end when Yoki. No. Loki starts to say some Asgardian thing. They're like, oh, Wiccan's like, I speak Asgardian. Obviously, the Avengers don't process you as the right, because, the Avengers are totally in a position to do something right now, considering the fact that they've all been possessed by interdimensional transparasite.
The parasite, yeah.
Mom. Yeah, but I don't get why they're suddenly dragging him off to... What?
This is some Asgardian type place, yeah.
Yeah.
Not even sure exactly 100% where it is. Other than, like I said, when Loki starts to say that Asgardian word, they cover his mouth. Because I think they heard that maybe so they think there's some association with Asgard.
I don't know. I'm not.
I don't either.
Sure.
So hopefully the next issue explains that to us. Otherwise, it's going to be
sucky.
It's going to be confusing. There's a certain amount of this I think is a little bit confusing just because we don't really know the characters. I mean, me and you have zero exposure to these characters.
Yeah.
The only character we have really any exposure to
is Kate.
And she was in the first issue for a few pages and hasn't been in it since.
Yeah.
So that's a
problem, kind of.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, we just read it and we'll accept it for what it is for now and see. But you're right. If they don't answer that in the next issue, explain to us why it is they're going to this Asgardian place and getting Kid Loki, who saved them, in trouble because they really would like to just pound on old Loki.
Who doesn't want to pound on Loki?
Well,
really.
Whatever. But so some of that stuff needs to be explained in the story for us. Otherwise, there's a problem with the story. But it's an enjoyable comic. Otherwise, though.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sold on it though.
Nah. Me either.
I'm looking forward to them getting the gang all together and seeing what happens. Because I'd like to collect a youth hero team type book, and obviously the Teen Titans.
Because Teen Titans sucks.
Ain't gonna be that. So
I'm trying to remember the last time Teen Titans was good, and I can't.
Was it ever? Since me and you've been reading it. Because, right when we first started reading it, Jeff Johns got off the book, and that's when it was good, probably. Then he dropped off the book, and then we got.
And then it was
a cycle of.
It was just all freaking Cassie and Robin love plays, whatever. Nobody cares. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is probably why I hate Tim Drake. But, briefly though, when, after Robin had left the team and whatnot to become Red Robin, when they had, Blue Beetle and, Aqualass and Bombshell and Rose and Blue Beetle, I think I already said him, and Kid Devil, when they were all on the team, it was that more
It was kind of fun.
different
It was a fun mix there for a little bit, and then,
And then they went back to the normal Teen Titans, and then it sucked again, and the new 252 happened, we were like, probably won't suck, and it then did.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So hopefully this will turn out, because I would like to read a book about young superheroes and whatnot, so we'll see. I'll be getting a few more issues anyway. What would we rate this?
I think I'd give it a 3.
I'd give it a 3 too. It's not a book that sold me to make me excited about it, but I'm not against it either.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's it. At the end of the week, we should have another one because we'll get last week's books on Monday or Tuesday. We'll read them throughout the week. So then we can do one at the beginning of the weekend, because we'll probably do another one at the end of the weekend, because we're just going to read lots of comics to get caught up. Anyway, see you later.